last episode we had your buddy here, and he told me about this thing where he had invested in a company that's doing drone window washing.
Yes.
I thought that was crazy fascinating, and I went and researched it a bunch. There's another competitor that's raised money, and drones, I don't think are the right words to describe it, because when I think of drones, I think of like a quadcopter. These are things that they look like the normal. So when you are pulling up the scaffolding, or when you're pulling up like the what do you call it? It's like an elevator.
Yep.
An elevator up, and the guys are standing on it and wiping. It looks like that, but there's a robot on there that is doing it instead of people.
Right. So it's not flying, you're saying?
It's not flying.
Yeah, why do they call it a drone then?
Because technically it is
a
drone.
robot.
Drone means unmanned vehicle, I think.
Okay.
So technically they're right. And so another company called Sky, I forget what it's called, they raised $3 million to do this. And so this morning, what I did, and yesterday morning, is I Googled Manhattan skyscraper window cleaners, and I found like the top 3-4 people, and I called them today to talk to them. And I was talking to them, and they're going to call me back with some more details. But my takeaway from this industry is incredibly segmented. So like fragmented. Like small, like 10 to $20 million businesses, and there's probably 5 or 10 of them in New York.
Right.
So
it's like the guy Brian from 1-800-GOT-JUNK, right? This is how the hauling business was, and before he sort of started aggregating all these small, fragmented local players. And you've always had this thesis, which is you could do the 1-800-GOT-JUNK model for other businesses.
Yeah, so I would do it for irrigation, for lawn mowing, for painting, which is already happening, and for landscaping.
Right.
And
it sounds like window washing is in that vein.
Yeah. So maybe you don't even need these freaking drones to do it, but that's definitely a cool shtick.
So the private equity play is you go, you buy up these businesses. They have a book of business. They do recurring revenue probably with the same buildings. And you say, okay, I'm going to buy this $5 million a year business for $8 million or $10 million bucks. Or you do smaller ones. You buy a bunch of $1 million a year businesses. And then you could bring in this technology to increase the efficiency. So
yes,
they're getting 50% margin. You could get 70%.
And there's 2 playbooks to look at if you wanted to replicate this. The first is dentists. So PE right now is gobbling up dentists.
Dentistry. Dentists.
We have friends who are doing this. I think
Yes.
we have like 3. Like Sieva looked into doing it, and then like 2 other guys I think we know. They love it. And so what they do is they find a dentist that does $2 million a year in revenue, and they buy the company.
And he's like 60, ready to retire in a few years.
And they buy it for maybe, if it's like a $3 million revenue thing, they probably buy it for like $1 million.
Yeah, basically they'll buy it at like 1 to 2x EBITDA, which is crazy.
Yeah. So basically the
pay back your money in a year or 2.
Yeah. So they buy it for the dentist's salary.
Right.
Times 2.
And they give him, you still keep this little piece and you keep getting your salary, but you don't have to run this business anymore in the sort of all the administration, marketing, and they centralize it. So they'll go buy 10 of these dentistries, and then they'll be like, okay, we'll have one central office that's doing Facebook ads, driving traffic to all these. We'll bring all your billing stuff into one central place, because why do you need 4 people doing billing? Because health insurance is, all complicated. And so they centralize, which makes each one more efficient. And basically, the dentist is already playing golf 2 days or 3 days a week, and they're like, "Look, here's a accelerated retirement for you."
And the goal here is you kind of become a little bit of just a marketing company,
right.
And so
we missed the punchline though. A couple of these roll-ups, I think, like in Canada, 70% of dentists, numbers wrong, but something like that. A huge percentage of all the dentist office have been rolled up now in Canada, and a couple of them have been taken public. The roll-ups for $3 billion.
Name them.
I don't know the names.
Okay, well, that's
we'll have to look it up.
Yeah, because
Henry, if you want to Google dentistry roll-up Canada goes public.
I would do that, and then the other model that you can look at for this is old people homes, nursing homes. Like so many PE. I mean, this is like.
So my wife's dad owns 3 senior care facilities.
Yeah,
and so I was looking into this because I was like, wow, this thing is a cash cow. And
I think it's soul crushing.
That's the problem with it, because he was like, hey, you guys want to take this over? And we were just like, oh, the money's there, but like,
It sucks.
I don't want this to be like my life, you know. Like, I think in general, people want to avoid nursing homes at all
fuck
costs.
that.
And so, getting into it earlier than you need to was painful. But he's making money doing it.
How much does it make a month? Like $1 million.
It depends on the
at least,
size.
right?
So basically, the model is you go and you can buy an existing nursing home. But what he looks for is he says, okay, this is an existing nursing home. It's got 28 beds, but it's permitted for 42. And so he'll either just buy it, he'll build out the other beds. And then the other thing is he'll buy things that are motels today. So motel, the room or the bed might rent for like, I don't know, $150 a night. And so that becomes, let's call it $4,000, ish a month. And what he does is for senior care, you're charging $7,000, $8,000 here in California for each bed. And you can put 2 beds in a room. And then you could do memory care, special, dementia ward on the bottom, and that's like $12,000. And
So you just put all the bullshit upsells into it. The problem is that your upsell is a dementia ward.
Yes.
So it's like, all right, clearly a lot of money can be made. You are definitely providing a valuable service to people.
Yeah,
It's
you're
just
not
like,
scamming people,
You're
right?
not scamming people.
But it is it's a saddening business to be in.
Yeah, and so for these, we're getting off track, but let's go. So my father-in-law owns a moving company in New York, and it's a medium-sized business, and it's done the same amount of, like, let's just say some number between 10 and 30 million in sales every single year, and real profitable. I go, well, how do you make this bigger? He goes, I'd have to buy everyone out, and I don't feel like doing it. I got a good life. And so you could do that for these window things, and if I was one of these drone window companies, I would look into doing
That's
that.
what you would do, yeah.